Hey everybody, Josh RV Nerd and Bish's RV down here in Denver with their newest, smallest, lightest, least expensivest thing they've ever made. The name of this is quite long. This is the new Ember E-Series Spark LE, I think 12RK or something like that. It is an elemental P mouthful, which is funny because it's the smallest thing they've ever made. This is a more simplified, straightforward, streamlined version of like the Overland rock and roll series, basically. It is effectively a bed in a box. But the cool thing is not everybody is looking for the Ritz-Carlton on their RV vacation. And there's a surprising long list of options. So you can get one of these kind of tricked out a little more according to what you're looking for. It's small, it's lightweight, it's only about 1,800 pounds dry weight. The GVW is about 36, which bums me to say it might knock it out of like Jeep Wrangler towing restriction, if I'm not mistaken, maybe minivan towability, because the thing is they still built this with a pretty heavy chassis and a pretty bulky axle, and it has a very respectable cargo carry capacity on it, but it has things like a heated enclosed underbelly. There's the roof rack system on the top, which if you want to add bikes or kayaks or anything like that, potentially a rooftop tent system that's out there. You could even attach additional solar panels to that roof system. But as you're seeing today, it does have their optional like extended off-grid 400-watt solar package with 2,000-watt inverter available. Things like a refrigerator, holding tank heat pads, the side mount air conditioner. There's a bunch of stuff like that that is optional. So if you want one where you're like, I need the absolute basic thing because I just don't want to sleep on the ground, that's this in its base form. But if you're like, yeah, but sometimes I'm going to be in a park and I want to be comfortable, they can do that too. And I'm going to try to walk you through all that today, the ups, the downs, the in-betweens on this little guy. And if you appreciate how we go to the same full extent and effort on this one that we do on the big ones, hit that subscribe button. Let's see what's in this little thing. I'm going to call it the prom date because it's just cute as a little button. Cute as the prom date. So most of the options you're going to run into this are probably on the outside of the RV, but I'm going to kind of stick with my normal format today and kind of take a peek on the tiny inside and then work our way out. Most of this RV will be exterior, which is, different from normal. You might notice how it has the dual full pass-through doors. They are both deadbolt secure, by the way, and they both have their own full viewing window with privacy shade integrated. I do not have one of those privacy shades deployed. Let me display that for you here because otherwise you might not know what I'm talking about. It is nice. This is a factory standard thing. They both have the bottom up, screens on there. So if you're inside and you're sleeping and you want to be able to peek outdoors, you can do that without people checking you out necessarily, You don't have to give up your privacy while indoors. But also, if you just want to have some nice fresh air flowing through here, we do have the dual screens. Now, but come here. There we go. Go, gadget arms. Stop it. Okay, first try. We've got that super bright spotlight at the top there. Both entry doors have that, so you can eyeball outdoors to see if Mr. Raccoon's checking you out, They had to get really creative with storage spaces in this. So what you're going to see is a lot of open storage with netting to keep stuff in there. But I think that works for something like this. It allows you to maybe stuff like bigger backpacks and duffel bags in there that wouldn't normally close into a traditional cabinet door. Up front here, this is either a generic little storage pocket, but also if you want to add a tire pressure monitoring system, that's where it would plug in. You've got your holding tank, your optional holding tank heater switch on the left, your battery disconnect further in. This one is outfitted with quite a few options, like the solar package, which is why we're seeing the thing that says WIFCO right there. That's the remote for your inverter. Next to your fuse box and the other little object, as long as we're completing everything, that's your multi-detector, so you don't end up carbon monoxiding yourself to death inside this thing. I'm not even trying to say that as a joke. Like, that's just a real thing that you definitely want to have covered. You might be wondering, what are those weird, observer camera-looking box things above the entry doors? It's actually, I'm going to get you down on the ground and try to focus straight up here, so apologies if this makes some people kind of motion sick. Those are light switches and whatnot. And a little kind of general amber glow light for maybe some nighttime navigation without potentially disturbing your partner if you're not solo camping in one of these. That's what those things are right there, and those are the switches that can activate, deactivate that, as well as the lights above the door. Give me just a second, and I'm actually going to climb in here and give you a chicken nugget dad bod size demo in this sucker. This one is outfitted also with their water heater and furnace. The furnace being an optional light. I tell you what I'll do here, after we're done with the interior, I'm going to do the body size demo. I'm going to give you just a big old list of all the options that are available on this so that you know what's base versus what's not. Now, what I didn't think about is the fact that I am my own camera person, and with all the netting that's up here, the Annette Funicellos, as it were, there's not a really good way for me to showcase the entire dad bod in this thing. But this came as actually a very pleasant surprise. I realized when I laid down on this, these, I'm pretty sure, are 80-inch bed segments, but depending on what you're doing, it is a split mattress. So if you're a solo RVer, if you want to double up the mattress on one side, maybe create bring a couple body pillows, create like a little personal lounger in here and have this space open. Like if you want to put a little porta potty or something over here, potentially I could see somebody doing something like that. We got the vent fan above us right there. It's a flexible space, but for a lot of us, like somebody like me, I'm a part pavement princess. I like my stuff just ready to go. But there's a lot of people like, yeah, I don't mind moving a couple things around if it means I get to camp my way away from people. This is an RV that could do that. But overall, I'm pretty impressed with the space here. Now, if I sit straight up right here, I would absolutely cold cock myself. But for the most part, space in this thing, it doesn't feel terrible. Yeah, you're laying down your lounge and you're doing the Burt Reynolds pose like I'm doing right here, but what did you expect in a little box like this? And to kind of help you understand what I was talking about earlier, again, the mattress pads on the floor, they're not glued to the floor or anything like that. If you want to take these out, swap them out, use it in some different way, I could see you do that. I could see there being like a little dog kennel box over here, if you want to double this up to have a really thick mattress situation, you can absolutely do that. But it gives you a little more of an idea of the potential space that you have to play with inside of this thing right here. The doors, I've noticed, are an anti-slam entry door. And as we work our way back outside, like you might notice this really cool wraparound like Batwing awning. That is one of a number of options on this RV. So here's the available list of options on this model. And as you see, it's far more involved than what most RVs typically are. Most RVs nowadays have maybe 2 or 3 options available, if any. There's a lot of RVs that are just like, this is how we build it, like a cookie cutter, take it or leave it. This thing right here, basically the idea is that they build the cookie, and then you get to sprinkle on whatever kind of fixins you want on the thing right there. But like the roof rack, the 2 different awnings, the solar package, even a refrigerator in the camp kitchen outside, like you can see that you can get this equipped a lot of different ways. It's like a Burger King camper. You can get it your way. But at the same time, if you're like, I want the smallest, lightest, least expensive, comfortable little box with some composite shelling around me here that I can get, you can get that here too. It's kind of you get to pick your poison. I'm curious, looking at this list, how would you want one of these things outfitted for you? Now, as I like to do, let's take a second look at the weights and measures over here. I know we've had a lot of text on screen for you today. I don't normally do quite that much, but again, with the big list of options available on this, the one that you're looking at could be very different from the one that's in stock. And I don't know why I decided to break out some silly Muppet voice right there, but hey, whatever. And I tell you, the aggressive tires that we're looking at here, the off-road kind of Wrangler tire, that is a factory standard thing. And especially with the tongue mount spare that we have up here, this little camper still has kind of just a hint of a beefy tactical look. I don't have my tape measure. I think this thing's only like 5.5 foot wide or something like that. Maybe only 5 foot wide. It is a very narrow camper. You don't need any real special kind of, you know, massive tow extension mirrors to see your way around one of these things. The dual propane tanks was quite a surprise to me. I was not expecting to find that. Again, on that options list, a power tongue jack being one of those available things. Let's talk some construction points. This rides on a Norco chassis, so this is not your traditional Lipper I-beam frame. This is one of those huck-bolted style jobs. The underbelly is enclosed. It is forced air heated. I'll actually tell you what, I'll squat down over here, give you a little bit of a look at this thing as we pass the, you know, the camera prep point there. Because once again, if you want to deck this sucker out, you absolutely can. Seeing that that was enclosed and heated standard was, again, a very pleasant surprise. The holding tank heat pads being another available kind of option that we have here. The ground clearance on this, I think, is very respectable, very good as well. The Batwing awning here, again, one of the options available on this. I'm a little bit over 6 foot tall. I find my head ducking just slightly to get under this thing, but not to the tune that I think it would really be, like, offensive to me. Here's kind of what I'm talking about. Like, I can stand straight up, and I can just slip under this thing. And generally speaking, walking around, I fit inside this thing just fine. And there's plenty of room here because it is that, like, 270-degree wraparound kind of awning situation, which I don't think the industry uses enough of. There's a bunch of small campers and the rear door campers that are out there, the towable truck campers I like to talk about. This would be a really handy thing if it was used more, but a lot of manufacturers just don't want to do it. The support arms, okay, I fit. I didn't think I was gonna. I thought I was gonna hit my head right there, but I catch myself just maybe protectively, reflexively ducking. What a lot of you don't realize is your hair acts like an early collision warning detection system that I don't really have anymore. Actually, I've got a nice scabby goose egg on top of my head. That's a lovely image to share with you from bashing my head inside a Brinkley the other day because I couldn't tell it was coming. Actually, that's the origin of the poof ball cap. Submariners were given those hats so that they would stop standing up and concussing themselves in submarines because you don't have the ability to just hop off that thing and always go straight to the hospital. The more you know. Sorry, I know I get off topic. Every one of my videos ends up being like a set of cards from the game Trivial Pursuit. The rear camp kitchen, the junk in the trunk, locker system. What do you think about this situation right here? The door, obviously, you might have noticed to give you some kind of walk-up head clearance. It is at a bit of a, it's past 90 degrees, which means if it's raining real hard, some water may trickle down and kind of splatter down on that inside edge right there. So if it's a super rainy day, what I've seen some people do is get like a 10 by 10 easy up screen room that they actually put over one of those in like the teardrop community. That's not super conducive with the Batwing awning if it's deployed. I'm guessing if it's really raining though, you'd probably have the Batwing awning put away. But if you have the manual side awning, that might be an option for you. I actually kind of like that they didn't force a refrigerator in this. Refrigerators have always felt like sort of out of place to me. They left you a spot over here where you can get the optional fridge, but one of those little like 12 volt kind of, plug-in coolers. You notice how they got the thing for that. I like how they let you equip this with the stuff that you want. And remember I said that you might have a little bit of water dribbling in here. I'm not saying you shouldn't dry it out, but that is a galvanized rolled steel right there. So it also doesn't concern me super duper greatly. Now the sink in this can kind of work as sort of two different functions, because you might notice it's got the little outside shower sprayer here. So it would be kind of a handheld application, but you could give yourself a little bit of a cowboy shower out here. And, you do have optional furnace. You have optional water heater, depending on how you want to use this. The griddle that comes out the back, that's always going to be included with a propane cooker hooker right below it. And obviously we also have our bike rack. Our receiver hitch down there could be used for bike racks. And you'll always have the receiver hitch on the back, whereas the roof cargo rack that we're looking at today is a potential maybe there kind of option. One of the things I was trying to kind of suggest in my previous flyby footage, you saw me kind of put my foot up on one of these and give you the big old Hulk Hogan thumbs up, brother, is because these actually are rated to be walked on and stepped on. And just to give you a little demo, I thought I'd actually do this here, and I noticed it's probably not an accident. They actually give us a handy little handle, a handy handle. That sounds like something from the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. Like, hey, handy helpers, here's some secret mouse tool that'll help us later. But if you need to get up here and actually like tie something down, secure something down, check this out. Make sure these didn't get damaged by a tree branch or something like that. Getting up here to do this stuff is actually very, very easy. And just to kind of complete the visual for you, I thought I'd also pull this rear door down, and I was very pleasantly surprised to find rear camera prep and slam latches on this back door. Again, a lot of thoughtful little details. These little, I kind of call them box drops. I think some people call them square drops. Not things I normally find in this category. And remember, if this little thing's a little too small for you, they make plenty of bigger options too. But what do you think of the new little guy right over here? To help you kind of fill in the blanks, I'll leave you a link in the video description to bounce over to our website where you can double check things like pricing and or availability. But keep in mind, the price on one of these can swing multiple thousands of dollars very quickly, depending on how far it gets shipped to a store and how much equipment is slapped onto it. You start adding solar packages and long distance shipping, it's gonna jump up a lot. Whereas like if this was a base model at my Coldwater, Michigan store, could be multiple thousands of dollars less. So it just depends on what you are seeking effectively. And if you like how we break everything down for you, hit that subscribe button. We'll catch you on the next one. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.